Hi there, this is Avalon from Crafts Direct, and in this video I will show you how you can make this dip-dyed wall hanging. Follow along and I will show you step by step how you can make this piece for your home. To begin, you will need a 24-inch long piece of cardboard, and then we will take our yarn and we will wrap it around the cardboard 10 times. If you don't have a piece of cardboard, that's okay. You can just cut 20 pieces of yarn that are each 24 inches long. Once you have wrapped your yarn around the cardboard 10 times, you will then cut one end of the yarn and you will cut it off the cardboard and keep it folded in half. Next, we will put our yarn on the dowel. The place where the yarn is folded in half, you will lay on top of the dowel. Bring the loop over the back of the dowel and pull the rest of the yarn through that loop and back down, hanging from the dowel. Pull it tight so that it is secure on the dowel, and then brush out all of the yarn that's hanging down just to make sure that you don't get any knots. Repeat all of those same steps 12 times so that you have 12 bunches of yarn that are secured onto the dowel. Cut 2 pieces of yarn that are 24 inches long and then double knot them to both sides of the dowel so that you have a hanger. Next, you will follow the directions on your RIT powder dye to begin dyeing. You want your water to be about 140 degrees Fahrenheit, and so I boiled mine and then let it sit for a few minutes before it got to the right temperature. And then I poured it into a container that I wasn't worried about dyeing. Out of that gallon of water, I took out about 2 cups. And then you are going to grab your RIT powder dye, and before you open it up, you are going to want to put on some gloves. But once you do that, you will take the powder dye and put it into that 2 cups of water and mix it together so that it dissolves completely before you put it into the large bucket. To help enhance the color, I added a half cup of salt to the dye. Grab some leftover yarn and dip it in your dye just to get a feel for how dark it is. I saw right away that the dye is very dark, and so I knew I wanted to be careful that with my first dye, since I want it to be light, to do it very quickly. If you want the dye to be lighter or darker, you can always add more water or add a second pouch of dye. Grab your wall hanging and make sure that you first run warm water all over it. I had done that beforehand and set it in a bucket. To do the ombre effect, we will start with the lightest color and we will do one big dunk really quickly, and then you will begin to dunk back and forth your wall hanging. You never want to go up to the top again because you want that to be your lightest color. And as you move, you want to make sure that you aren't dunking at the same spot because you don't want your ombre colors to be really harsh and to have that line. So if you change the spot where you are dunking, it will create more of this smooth transition. You will start dunking at about the halfway mark of where the color all is, and you will begin to work your way down and dunking it not as far as you had before. You will be doing this for about 20 to 30 minutes, so be warned that this is quite an arm workout, so your arms might be a little sore, but it helped me to switch which arm I was using. Wring out any extra dye that is in the wall hanging, and then you will set it in another bucket and transfer it to the sink. Because we are dealing with dye, you want to be very careful about where you are rinsing it out. If you have a stainless steel sink, you can easily wash it out in the stainless steel sink because it won't stain. But otherwise, you will want to use your container or bucket and make sure you keep all of the water and dye in that container. Rinse the wall hanging in cool water and rinse it until the water runs clear before you hang it up to dry. Once the wall hanging completely dries, you will brush out all of the strands and separate them so that you don't have any knots or tangles. Grab some painter's tape to create a point at the bottom of the wall hanging. This tape will be your guide to show you where you should be cutting. Remove the painter's tape from the wall hanging and then actually hang it up on a wall and then trim wherever you see a need. Once the wall hanging looks even and is as you like, it is ready to be displayed. Thank you so much for watching this video. You can shop all the supplies needed to make this project at craftsdirect.com/projects.